Tuesday night, so it is time for my weekly online class to go. So for anyone who is new to my channel or my Facebook page, welcome. Each week on Tuesday nights I do a live class. We make 3 cards or 3 projects using a featured stamp set or bundle, and then for anyone who places an order of $75 or more before shipping and after any Stampin' Rewards redemption, by the end of Saturday night, I will send you, as a thank you from me, the kits to make 2 each of the 3 cards from this week's class. So you'll get all the cardstock designer series paper, any die cuts or punch shapes that are not part of the featured bundle. For any die cuts or punches that are part of the featured bundle, then you'll get either the cardstock or designer series paper, depending on what's used, and then you'll die cut or punch yourself. The reason for that is just that if you're using a different set, so if you haven't got the same one that I have, but you're using something similar, makes more sense for you to die cut the shapes that you have rather than getting a die cut that doesn't quite fit with your stamp set. So that's why it's done that way. Oh, and also any ribbon or twine is included as well. So this week the featured bundle is the balloon festoon bundle. So I'll just switch my camera around and we'll have a look at the projects first. So these are the 3 projects. So this last one is actually a well, sort of a fun fold. So it's a standard card, but then it's also got a gift card holder on the front as well. So balloon festoon is the bundle. So you've got sentiments and images, and then the die cuts. I'll just open this up so you can get a better idea of the sizing. So you've got a whole set of different sizes for the balloons. So the stamped image, so the one from the stamp set, that is actually the smallest die. So you can actually make the large one is large enough you can make a shaped card from that balloon die cut. So they're quite large, so really good if you want to make banners from the balloons or shaped cards, anything like that. Works really well for that. So we'll just put that to the side and we will get started with this one. So this is the first one, obviously, but it's also the easiest one. So it's the most straightforward design, and it wasn't intended this way, but they kind of step up from there. So let me just pull out all my bits and pieces. So we've got some lemon lolly cardstock, some of the Beautiful Ordinary Life designer series paper, which I've used throughout this week's projects, and then I've die cut the balloon from the same paper pack. So with this one, each one is going to look slightly different. So this is another one that I made for a video. So this is the same sheet of designer series paper, but because of the different coloring, so each one is going to be different. And then the one that I actually had just before, that was in the pack, that is also from the same sheet. So there is a mix. I just decided that one there was a little bit too dark with the all the other colors that I was using, so I switched out. So each one is going to look slightly different, but the layout is exactly the same. Now I also need where are my little, they were right in front of me. Let me find them. Just where'd they go? The little balloon string pieces. They are staring me in the face, no doubt. There they are. Hiding. They're very small. Let's get that out. There we go. Alrighty. So very straightforward layout for this one. We'll start just with the designer series paper, add that to the cardstock. And then we can add this to the base. Hi Dimity, how are you? Good to see you. Or at least see your name pop up. Can't actually see you. Alrighty, so whack that one down. And then we will add a bunch of dimensionals to the back of this. Just go all the way around. And then I am going to add just a few of the smaller ones in between, just so I don't end up with the middle section sagging. So that should be enough. I actually do want a tiny bit on that very bottom bit. That is one of the good things with the edges of the dimensionals. You can just cut them to size. And then we just have to get all the backings off. You can't hear me. I have, the volume is right up. Hopefully, can you not hear at all, Dimity, or just very, very faint? Just wondering if it's audio is not working at all, or just not as well as it should be. Everything should be connected, and it appears to be showing very faint. Okay. That is odd. I'll move my computer forward slightly. Hopefully I don't end up tipping it off. We shall see if that works. Just have to try and adjust it because it is right on the edge and I don't want it to fall off. It probably will, but we'll see how we go. All right. Let's see how that goes. I'm not sure why it's not working. I made sure the volume was well and truly up before I started, because I know we have had this issue before. And I'm just double checking that it's all working, and none of the settings have changed, so hopefully it, you know, hopefully it's no more than a once off. I still prefer that you can actually hear, but I'm not sure why it's not. If anyone else is online at the moment, I can't see how many others are online, either on Facebook or YouTube. But if you are watching, let me know how the volume is for you, and then we can try and sort it out. All right, so once we've got the string die cut piece down, we're just going to trim that off at the bottom, and then we're just going to grab a piece of basic white, some berry burst ink for the sentiment, and grab our sentiment, ink that up. Get that one in the center, and I'm going to clean this before I forget, because I do need it again, and I will probably forget if I don't do it now. All right, then we're just going to trim this on an angle on both ends. We do want it to be fairly close on both sides so that it fits, although if you want to extend off the sides, you can do that as well. And we'll just check that all fits across. However, I'm just going to just adjust that one ever so slightly. There we go. And then that one, we are going to sit that one flat, just so that the card doesn't, so it hasn't got too much height if you are posting it, but you absolutely can prop it up on dimensionals if you wish. If you want to give it a bit more height, you could also, if you wanted to step it up a bit, get a piece of coordinating cardstock and cut it a little bit bigger on all sides, so you've got a border around it. So that is also an option if you want to step it up a bit. And then all we need to do, I've got some, now this is actually retired baker's twine, but I've got plenty of it, so plenty to send in the kits for this week, and I figured, got it, might as well use it up, and the color coordinates nicely, so that's what I'm going with. So we'll just cut a double, well, a length to tie a double bow. And we'll just get that sorted, trim the ends. we'll just use a glue dot to attach that. So I'm going to put that one down there, and then we should add the insert before I forget. Once I find it, there it is. Always hiding. And we'll add this to the inside, and then all that is left, apart from cleaning all the glue off my desk, I forgot to clean this before I started, is we just need some embellishments. So for this one, I am using some of the Charming Shimmer faceted dots. So these are last chance list, if they're still available. Hopefully they are. But anything in a coordinating colour will work absolutely fine. So I'm going to use 2 of the colours from this lot, and I've got tiny little backings from another card or set of cards that I was working on over the weekend. And then we'll just add a few of these ones and a small one up the top. Move those out of the way. No, this is not the biggest dimity. Give me a sec, I'll get the dies out again. So that is the first card done, nice and easy. So let me bring the dies back out. No, this one is not the biggest. This one is, actually I've got it, it's the 3rd largest. So this one, and then so it's a bit of comparison. This is the largest one. So as I mentioned it was right at the very start, so you may not have been online yet, Timothy, this one is big enough to make shaped card bases from. So if you think, this is a standard card base for Australia at least, or anyone using A4 cardstock, so it is slightly, just ever so slightly wider, and it would be very close to, it's very close in the widest and tallest points to our card base size, ever so slightly bigger, so perfect size for making card bases. So if you want really big dies and shaped cards, this is definitely a good die set for that. Alrighty, on to the second card. Once I rearrange the mess on my desk. And so this is the second one. So this is a Pretty Peacock base. And then we have lots of pieces. Let's see if I've got them all. So scrap for the sentiment, a couple of pieces of designer series paper, more Pretty Peacock, and then some don't need all of those, but some die cut balloons, and actually one of the things I'll do first, just so it has time to dry, just get these turned over, make sure they're the right way up, is I used the new white gel pens to add just a little bit of detail to these. So the 3 die cuts, I've used 2-tone cardstock. These 2 are the smallest, and then that's the next size up. So really like the gel pens. They work really well. The ink flows nicely. Let's make that one a bit bigger. So they are good gel pens. I've used a few different ones over the years. These are definitely the best ones of the ones that I've used. So I'm just going to move these to the side just to give that ink a bit of time to dry. It doesn't take all that long, but I would prefer to get it done and have it well and truly dry before I start moving them around. So first things first, we need to do some stamping off on the cardstock. So the largest Pretty Peacock piece. So we need the Pretty Peacock ink. And we're just going to ink up, and oops, stuff is moving, didn't want that, but it's all right. So I just sort of alternate each one sort of up and down. And I think essentially three rows should be plenty, but of course just double check with your designer series paper. So this one goes, so it goes all the way across, so just put it in place, so no border at the top or the sides for this one. So just make sure that that your stamping sort of covers, so there's no big gaps or anything. So that's all looking good. So we will adhere that to the top, and of course, if you mess it up, just flip it over and start again on the other side. Or potentially even if you sort of think you've messed it up and you've only just started, you can just flip it upside down, because this top part is going to be covered. So you've got options there if you need them. All right, and then, so we don't need this anymore. So we can put this one down. Can be a little harder to line up when you've got the cardstock the same size as your base, but I think that's looking pretty good. And then we will adhere the DSP to the smaller piece of Pretty Peacock. So I went with a slightly wider border on this one. And then that is going in the center there. So we can pop that down. And then, so I've got the three pieces for the balloon strings. So we're going to do one. Oh no, we can do. We don't know. It's the last one that needs to be a bit more planned out with the strings. This one is going to be fine. So that's about where I'm going to have everything sitting. I'm sitting these all flat. You can pop up the middle one if you wish. I just decided to leave all of them flat for this one. And just move that one down a bit further. So I'll do the two side ones first. Hi Renee, how are you? We are just on the second project. Oops. So we get that one down, and then that one is going to sit up there. Actually, let's pop this one up and just, why not? I did the other ones flat. Let's pop this one up and see how it goes. I may regret it. I may realize that there was a reason I didn't, but we'll see. We shall see. Alright, well, dimensionals coming off, or trying to escape. Down you go. Oh, one more. Alrighty. So that is going in the center or thereabouts. And then we shall stick these down. So these would have been a really good one to use the adhesive sheets on. Most of these ones were cut from some very small scraps of cardstock, so trying to add adhesive sheets wasn't super straightforward. I decided it wasn't worth it. I'm just going to get a little bit of that adhesive off. So we want all of the balloon strings sort of heading towards the center. Doesn't have to be right in the center, but just in that direction. Now we'll just make sure there is enough adhesive. And then the final one in the center. And if you're doing this as I am without adhesive sheets and adding the liquid glue and you're finding that you've just got a little bit too much, use your silicone mat and just press it down to get some of the adhesive off. And then that one is coming straight down the center. Let's just move it up slightly, about there, in the middle. All right, and then we will trim off the ends. You can either trim them at the end of the DSP or where the Pretty Peacock cardstock ends, because it's the same color, so it will blend in if you choose to go with that one. So either will work absolutely fine. Then for the sentiment, I've got my scrap piece of cardstock. Oh, I've made that. That is a very small scrap. I'm pretty sure I did check that this works, but I may still... No, that's right, that one is not going to work for the way I wanted it to, so let me just find another scrap here. I have plenty. That'll do nicely. So, Pretty Peacock. I think that one was from one of my earlier versions of the sentiment when I was cutting it, but I decided I didn't like how it looked and I wanted to go more sort of, rather than sort of cutting in and around each little bit, I just wanted to keep it a bit broader. So that is what we're going to do. So we're not going right in on any particular part. We'll come around a bit closer on this section, but we're then sort of going around the top. And we'll just go around there. It's also a lot quicker this way. And then we just trim up that corner so it's a bit more rounded. There we go. All right. This one we're going to pop up on dimensionals. And that's going to go across the middle there. We'll just straighten that up a bit. And then this one I'm using just some basic white baker's twine. So again, I'll do double bow. So just make sure I've got enough. Oops, didn't do a good job of that. Let's try again. Okay, that's a bit better. Still got to straighten it up, but and adjust this one because it's a bit uneven now. There we go, that's better. Alright, so that's going across the bottom there, so we'll just trim the ends. And trim a bit more on this side. And where are my glue dots gone? There they are. So we'll pop this right down the bottom, which also helps to hide the bottom of the strings. There we go, and we need to add the insert. Okay, then we just need to add some embellishments. So for this, whoop, dropping stuff all over the floor. For this one, I am using the array of dots, and might need to get some more of these soon. So just going to grab a few of these. Did I use a big one there? Yes, I did. Which is good because I'm running out of the small ones. And we'll work another one up there. And once I get that bit of adhesive off, there we go. There is the second one. Alrighty, on to the last one. So this is the Funfold gift card holder. Let me pull everything out. Where's it gone? Where's it hiding? Come on. Staring me in the face. Where's it gone? Got my kit. There it is. Alrighty, so very easy to make. So we have some cardstock, Coastal Cabana. This is for the gift card holder components. Designer series paper for the card front. Insert for later. Designer series paper, and for the inside of the holder, I've got the stamped and die cut balloons. So let's attach this first piece just to get this piece out of the way. Just so I haven't got quite so much on my desk in all over the place. So that bit is done. We can put that aside. Now I need to get my punch because I forgot to get that out. And so I'm using the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. You can use any size really, as long as it's not too small. Any size is going to use. Just adjust how far down you cut. Now let me just double check my scoring measurements because I haven't scored this piece yet. So very simple, 2 scores on this one. And let me just make sure my scoring blade is at the top. Move this so I can extend this out because I can't remember I probably can just do it. Oh no, because one side is longer. All right. So we'll just fold these. So the smaller section, so once you've folded it, you've got 2 equal sections and then a smaller section. So this smaller one is your gift card, the fold up part of the gift card holder. So we are going to grab the circle punch, line it up evenly, and depending on how big you want this semicircle to be, the little notch, punch that out, and then we'll do that piece. Wrong one. Where's my other one? Where's my other piece gone? No, it's the white. That's why. It's white, not patterned for this one. So just make sure you check which side it's going on. And that out, and then just check that you're happy with where it's going to sit, and that is good enough for me. You can always, you know, actually no, let me check. I mean, it's pretty close. I'm going to go a tiny bit further and hopefully not mess it up. This one a little bit. That's better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Much better. So better to go a bit too shallow and then add or punch out a bit more than to go too far. All right, let's do all the stamping. That's going on the front. So on the inside, and I should also have a strip for the sentiment. I got bits and pieces all over the place at the moment, so we'll do this one first. So we are going to stamp a sentiment on the inside. I'm going to use very burst, so that's just going to sit just under the punched section, and then we want the Coastal Cabana. I'm going to stamp off for this one, and I've used the confetti stamp, but there's a bunch of other ones that you could use. So there's stars, dots, you could use all of them, and we are just going to randomly stamp and you can stamp over the sentiment because we're stamping off. It's not going to be it's not going to cause an issue, so just have fun with it. Something's gotten into either something got into that, or I've picked up some of the ink from here, which is probably more likely, but that's all right. Adds a bit of extra shading. So once you're happy with that, I think it is probably from stamping it off on the blending there. That is fine. And then we will do the sentiment. So we're going with the happy birthday again. So I'm doing happy birthday for all of these cards because they are all birthday cards. And I do need to, I can't remember what I used on the last one. Yes, I do need to clean that off again. Ink that one up. There we go. And I'm going to do the same angled cut that I have done on, on the first one, not the last one. The last one was sort of fussy cut, not quite fussy cut. So that is that. And now we can just put everything together. So let's stick this one down. No, that was really stupid, wasn't it? Or is it? No. Hang on. Let me just double check. No, that's fine. I was thinking that this part is the gift card component. It's not. It's fine. All right, so we'll get that down. It's the next part that we need to be careful with. So I'm using Terran tape, so we want to make sure we're just adding adhesive on the sides, and you want to make sure that the adhesive is right on the edge so that you've got plenty of room for the gift card to fit in. So right on the edge. And we'll just press that down, get the backings off. Alrighty, press that down firmly, so that is now good to go. I just like to make sure there's going to be plenty of room, so that will work fine. Then we need to add the designer series paper to the front. That is good to go, so let's get that down on the front. So that's going in the center there. Oops. Just going to get that little bit of adhesive off the very edge there, just because I don't want the holder closing on me. Get that down in the center. And then we will bring in the pre-stamped and die cut balloons. So I've used Darling Duckling, Coastal Cabana and Timid Tiger. So I reckon about, you sit them, actually that's right, I want them a little bit closer, overlapping very slightly. This is the one where I do want to, even though it doesn't matter too much because it's going to be covered by the sentiment, but do want to just be, and I'm actually going to just use a block to hold that down, just to keep it keep it nicely closed while we adhere everything. So that one is going about there. I will add the string for this one once my adhesive cooperates. There we go, not too much. Definitely should have used adhesive sheets, but I was going with very small scraps. So again, we're going to aim to get these roughly in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. And actually, that reminds me, that's what I did last time. Just so I don't end up sort of potentially sticking this shut, I'm just going to stick my silicone mat underneath, and that way if there's any adhesive on that little those end bits, it will just adhere onto the silicone sheet and come off very easily, make it much easier. So just slightly overlapping for these back two. And so as these ones are a bit closer together than the previous one, the strings are going to overlap more, so just need to be careful with the placement, even though it ended up pretty much all being covered, although I think I'm just looking at, I've got two in front of me. One is almost all of this is covered, like the string. The other one is not entirely, and I think the one that is probably very intentional. I was probably covering up something, because we don't need it to be entirely covered, but I think I made the sentiment piece just a little bigger and just adjusted placement of various elements. Probably to hide something. Alright, so this one is going a bit further down, and then this final one is going down the center. Just spread some of that adhesive out rather than adding more. And then just a bit more here, spread that out. I'll still get a little bit of that off. And then get this close to the center there. And just nudge that up slightly. Oops. That was not what I intended. Alright. spare one for later. Now let's just trim. And then just get some of the excess adhesive off. Now, so the sentiment is going to sit there. So we don't want it, even though one of them does have it all the way to the bottom, we want it a little bit up so that you can see the bottom. And then where is, I have another pack of twine hiding, staring me in the face. I did get it out. There it is. So this is the black and white and gold baker's twines. This was from the seasonal mini at the end of last year. It's on the last chance list. So again, do a double bow with this one. If I can actually tie it. I had intended to do at least some of these bows ahead of time, but I ran out of time. There we go. Just need to straighten it up, tidy it up. Get it a bit more even on for each bow. Alrighty, that's fine. Not sure how that one ended up so uneven. It was even to start with, but I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do that again. Alrighty, glue dots. Oh, go on down here. This is the glue dots going there, so the bow's going in the center there, and then we'll add dimensionals. I'm going to go sort of leave a little gap in the middle, just covering this part. Not that it's that raised, but just so it doesn't end up too high or uneven. We just want that in the center there. Get the twine out of the way. There we go. And then we just need the insert and some embellishments. Down, flip that back over, and then so I've used 2 lots of embellishments for this one. So the array of dots, which we used on the last one, and then the dewdrops embellishments, although I'm going to use up some old gems that I've almost finished that are essentially the same same kind, just in a slightly different format, and I'm almost used them up. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll start with these ones. And now where did I have? That's right. I'm definitely going to need to order some more of these. And then, so these ones I just need to separate them out, but I'm so close to using them up. Once we get the adhesive sorted, just needed to fold it around the back, and then it's being a bit difficult. Come on. One up the top there, and another one over here. And let's move that down ever so slightly. There we go. Alrighty, and there is the third one. So this one, got the gift card holder on the front, card for your message in the middle, and then bring the others back in. So we have that one, and then this one. Alrighty, so these are the 3 cards for this week's class. Remember, you have until the end of Saturday night to get your orders in, so $75 before shipping and after stamp and rewards to get your kits for this week's class. For those who are watching on YouTube, if you like the projects and you want to see more of them, want to make sure you don't miss each week, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you're not already on my email list, head over to handmadeafterdark.com.au, sign up to my email list. You'll get all the updates on classes, any other events, discounts, specials, all the rest of it. Registration is still open for the online global retreat, and I have extended the early bird for a little bit longer, partly because some of the items are currently out of stock and I'm waiting for them to come back in, so I can't order the stuff yet, so I may as well extend the early bird, seeing as the order will be going in a bit later than I intended. So bonus for you, early bird lasts longer. Alrighty, next week is Words and Wishes as the featured bundle. But that is all from me for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Demity. And I hope to see you next week.